So now that we've discussed goal setting, now we're going to be talking about overcoming perfectionism. Perfectionism is actually something that I experience daily in my own personal life, unfortunately. And I think a lot of it is because there is a hyper awareness about, you know, on myself that I place on myself. There's a lot of pressure that I apply on myself. Um, but really, my motivation is to do things right, and that I am successful. But sometimes that can lead to self defeating behaviors. Sometimes there's self talk that I can't do it, I can't achieve this, or I'm never going to get it right. And so sometimes that can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and even feelings of inadequacy. And so I think that when we are really challenging, some of those thoughts, trying to figure out how to overcome that perfectionism, we really have to remind ourselves to give ourselves grace because we're not perfect. We are individuals who just we're motivated to get things right. But we have to know that we're not always going to be able to do that every single time, and that's okay. I think that when we get to a space where we're able to overcome that perfectionist piece, I think that that's when we'll see the big picture. And, all the parts that we put in there, the hard work that and dedication that we put into what we want and goals in life, I think the reward is really the journey that it took there and not necessarily what the finish line looks like. An example of perfectionism is actually what I'm experiencing right now. I understand the importance of this class, and I really want to be able to impact people's lives in a positive way. But I'm so inundated with, how's my hair? How's my dress? How do I look? Is what I'm saying right now really resonating with you all? And so I think that sometimes what happens is when we are being a perfectionist, that it takes us out of the present and it takes us out of why we're doing this. What is our purpose? And so I think that really and truly, it can be a barrier to us achieving our goals. And it it makes us forget why we are even here. What is the purpose of this journey? And so I think that it's important to note that if that's something that you are experiencing, that, therapy is a really good place to kind of unpack that because I think it's helpful to just kind of remind you and get you back to that point of, okay, what is my purpose? Let's start over. Do we need to set goals? Do we need to get to a place where we take a pause and say, maybe this is something that we need to, um, kind of put a stop to right now and flesh out more so that we feel comfortable in where we are. Because I think sometimes when we are, allowing for perfectionism to overtake us, it's because we really want to get to a place very quickly because we just want to say we achieved a goal. But I think that it's important that we know that there's a lot of hard work and dedication. And remember, those SMART goals, we have to be timely and patient in getting to that goal because we want it to be done correctly and we want it to be true to who we are. And so, I think that overcoming that perfectionism really gets us back to who we are. So, here are some ways to overcome perfectionism. I think the first step is lowering pressure on yourself. I think sometimes we place pressure on ourselves because we really truly want to be successful and we want to, be able to execute on the thing that we're trying to show or present or whether it be our crafts or just reaching a goal just in general. I think that because we want to be successful so bad, we do apply that pressure. And so I think what we have to do is make sure that we are being intentional in achieving the goal, but not so much that it becomes detrimental to our mental health. The next step I would say is to give yourself grace. I think, again, we have to remember that we are human beings and that even though we set goals, they may not be perfect. Even if, we put all of our effort into something, it may not be successful the first time. And so, really giving yourself grace and remembering that that goals can be changed, goals can be extended out. We can revisit the goal to see what we need to change so that we are setting ourselves up for success. The next thing I would say is to, again, this is good for setting attainable goals as well. Because I think, again, when we speak about perfectionism, we talk about how those failures put us in a negative space. And so, if we are preparing and we're setting goals that are achievable up front, then that sets us up for success in a way that those failures don't necessarily set us back. So, the next thing I would say that is helpful in overcoming perfectionism is to embrace constructive criticism. I know that sometimes it's difficult to hear the things that we need to improve on, but the purpose on listening to that criticism, or constructive criticism rather, is to help us be better, is to help us grow. Is to put us on in a positive direction. And so I think that embracing that helps us to get back on track. And it's okay if you're not in the perfect spot. I think depending on who it's coming from and that person, their intention is to support you. And so that is very helpful towards achieving those goals as well, having that support system provide insight and feedback. um, the next thing I would say is sit in gratitude. I think sometimes when we are in a perfectionist mindset, we forget about the great things that we've done, or the tremendous work that we've done to get to this point. And so we forget to celebrate the small victories. And so I think it's important to sit in gratitude in a sense of just being thankful, like, wow, we've really made steps towards this goal and we're further than where we started. And so I think that when we sit in gratitude, we do remind ourselves of the great progress that we've made, but also reminding ourselves that we're fully capable of getting to the finish line. So if you are currently struggling with self confidence, I believe that it may be difficult to hear constructive criticism. It may be framed as, this is something that is wrong with me. That's not true. I think that when the purpose of constructive criticism is to help you get to your goal, and it's coming from a place of love and support. And so I think sometimes it could feel that way. But I think that is important to note that the purpose of constructive criticism is to get you to your goal, to help you and support you get there. So now that we've talked about overcoming perfectionism, now is a good time to segue into overcoming setbacks, which is something that we experience in our daily lives.